We are in the kitchen today tackling some canning projects. Plan for today is I pulled out a massive bag of venison. I'll show you guys here in a second. And I want to get a load of just venison and onion in the pressure canner, and I want to get a load of venison beef stew in the pressure canner. I washed some jars up last night. I might wash up a couple more. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pints. That's what I want to do, just our plain venison and onion in. And sitting in front of me I have 5 quart jars that I want to do some venison beef stew in, but I might wash up a couple more of those jars just so we can get a full canner load. I wanted to start processing my venison right away this morning because right now it's in long kind of roasts, and I want to cut that down into some smaller chunks here. I've got my pot here that we will put all of our prepped venison in, and then we're just going to start packing jars and loading them. I was thinking about it a little bit this morning how I want to do this, and I think what I want to do is load in all of my pints, get those in the pressure canner first. Those are going to process for 75 minutes, and while those are processing and everything's coming up to temperature and things, we will continue processing our venison that we have here and packing our jars for the venison beef stew. I actually prepped all of my vegetables yesterday except my potatoes, which I have here. So that's kind of why I want to get our normal venison packed first. That way while those are processing, we have time to peel potatoes and chop those up. But my onion, carrot, and celery are already ready to go. So let's go ahead and hop in and get the day started. I'm getting a little bit later of a start than I wanted. It's about 10:40, but this morning I had run down to my mother-in-law, drop off some jars for her. We have had a crazy jar shortage in our area, and she was in the middle of canning and was like, I need these jars. Do you have any that I can borrow? So I brought her some jars down this morning so she could finish her big bag of venison. And they're just in, oh my gosh, my dogs are already, get out of here, girlfriend. The second I pull out anything with venison, my dogs are all over it. They're like hounds. So my dogs are definitely gonna be getting scraps today. Okay, so this is gonna be pretty straightforward. I wanna pull out my onions right away. So I processed onions in 2 different ways yesterday. These are sliced, and I want to put just a little bit of sliced onion in each of my jars here, and then we'll fill the rest of it up with our venison. And I'm not going to put any water, any beef stock, or anything in there. The venison will make its own juices. This is how my neighbor does hers. I asked her recently how she did hers because she shared some jars with us last year and they were just delicious. So I'm just gonna cut these into smaller chunks here. And lady is gonna stay very close to me while I'm doing this because she knows once I start cutting off membranes and silver strips, she is gonna get some scraps. So nothing's gonna go to waste today. But we're just gonna start packing jars. And once I have all of these jars filled, I'm gonna run downstairs, get my pressure canner. We'll get these loaded in. And I'm really hoping this doesn't take very long today. It shouldn't. The one thing I do like about pressure canning is the fact that it really is just like dumping ingredients in a jar and letting it go. I kind of underestimated how much venison was in this bag. So I guess we're gonna figure it out together how many jars we're really gonna get today. But then I will have some convenience meals on the shelf for this winter. Easy stews, absolutely delicious, but this venison is absolutely delicious as well. Being able to just pull some really nice tender venison off the shelf. We could throw this in a pot pie. We could throw this in a stew if I wanted to make a fresh stew or something. Or venison, like stroganoff, things like that. It's so convenient. But me and my husband found last year, because my neighbor shared jars with us, that our actual favorite way to do it is to just eat it out of the jar on a piece of homemade bread with maybe like a fried egg or something. It's so good. It makes a delicious breakfast scramble or like a hash. It's just delicious. So we're just going to keep going here, packing jars with a little bit of our onion. I'm so happy I took the time to prep these yesterday. And very quickly we will be able to get hopefully a canner going here. I'm just trying to make sure that my venison are all about the same size. That way it's gonna help the processing be a little bit more even. But let me know, do you guys can venison like this? What's your favorite way to use it in? Because this is a newer product to me. But man, oh man, was it delicious. It just renders down so nice. It's so tender and juicy. Because venison's a super lean meat, so it tends to dry out a little bit, but we did not have that experience when we canned it. So I'm very, very excited about having more of these on the shelf. I think it's gonna be delicious. So that is the plan for today. Everything loaded. I'm gonna wipe rims really quickly, and then I'm gonna put lids on top of these that I have up here. And then I need to run down to the basement and grab more lids, rings, and my pressure canner. And we can get this loaded. And while these are processing and the canner is coming up to pressure and temperature and all of that, I will get, we'll keep chopping up this venison here and load in our beef stew. So we're gonna do a quick reset and then we can kind of finish off what we're doing here. I got our first load in the canner. I have, what, 7, 8 pints, whatever the canner holds, full of venison and onion going. Now we're gonna move on to our venison beef stew. What I wanna do is get the venison chopped and loaded into all of my jars here, and then wipe everything down, clean everything off, peel my potatoes, get those in, and then I'll grab the vegetables that I prepped out of the fridge and top off my jars. I did carry up a couple more jars of both sizes, quarts and pints. I'm thinking I will probably can venison beef stew of both of those. That way, if maybe it's just like myself and one of the kids for lunch or something, I can pop open a pint. Or if we're like super in a pinch, my husband could grab a pint off of the shelf and bring it to work with him or something like that. Or even, I just want to make sure I have a lot of these because I really envision handing some of these venison beef stews out as Christmas gifts, because I think it's really fun that this is like a family group effort. There's a little bit of everybody's work going into this based off of different vegetables from people's gardens that we've shared, and obviously the venison itself from my brother-in-law. So I thought it would be nice for everybody to get, you know, a jar or two, and then we can all kind of share in everybody's hard work over the last year or so. So that's kind of my plan with these, but I'm going to get, I think, a decent amount of venison in the bottom of each jar. I've never done this before, so it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve on how much of each ingredient I want in each jar, but I'm really thinking I want mostly a good amount of venison in here, a little bit of homegrown potato, a little bit of onion, celery, and carrot. I think it'll be really, really good. So I am very excited about these. So we are just going to pack these in. I'm going to get my ingredients in these. We're going to get these packed, and then I'm going to top off each jar with just water. You could do beef stock, venison stock, whatever you want to top these stews, but I'm going to do just water because the venison is going to make its own venison stock in the water as it cans. So I'm not worried about adding anything extra to it if I don't really have to. The venison that's in the canner is going to pressure can at 11 pounds of pressure for 75 minutes. So we've definitely got some time. I have not unloaded my dishwasher yet today, so I got to get that going, and we will just take our time today because pressure canning takes a little bit of time for everything to come up to temperature, for everything to come back down to temperature. So I'm not in a huge rush today. I got 8 quart jars here. We cut up the rest of the venison that I pulled out, which is fantastic. We were able to use everything. I got the scraps out on the back deck. Dogs are out there enjoying all the scrap pieces. So what we're going to do is set these aside. This is the thing that takes the least amount of time in all of it, is just packing these jars, because we don't actually really have to do anything other than peel, chop, and prep some vegetables. So at this point, things are going to move very quickly. I'm going to peel off some of our homegrown potatoes. We're putting in some store-bought carrots, store-bought onions with a little bit of mix of homegrown onions as well, homegrown celery. So you can mix and match. I feel like there is this whole thing on the internet where you have to grow absolutely everything to make it homesteader enough. And you guys, that's just not the case. I talked about this before, but back in the day, families didn't even do that. I mean, some families did, of course. There's always an exception to the rule, right? But more often than not, it was exactly what we're doing here in trading and helping people out. My brother-in-law got way too many deer last year, gave some of it to us, where we'll trade farm fresh eggs for things or just give things back and forth. My mother-in-law had an exceptional celery harvest this year, so she gave us some of that. Using the convenience that we have of the grocery store for other items, which is great, some of our homegrown potatoes and onions, and everyone is going to get a little bit of something out of these jars, which is why I think these are so cool for Christmas presents, because it really is a family effort, a little bit of a community effort to make these through. I needed to chop a little bit more carrots and a couple more potatoes just to fill out my jars. But other than that, we were good to go. Top them with my hot water. You do have the option to top these with a beef stock or a venison stock if you wish. I don't wish to do that, but that's always an option as well. And we're going to pressure can these at 90 minutes at 11 pounds of pressure, at least for my area. And we're going to have some self-stable meal. Takes so long. My canner is finally come down to pressure and ready to be opened. Whenever I open my pressure canner, I always make sure that I open it and use the lid as a shield, because there's still going to be steam that comes up. It's still hot in here. So I'll pull it up and over, just so you're not getting that hot burst of water steam in your face. And these jars are still going to be rolling hot. Oh, it smells good though. So I'm going to unload all of these. What's up, baby? What? Let me see. Oh no. And a little bit of a mom distraction, but I'm going to finish unloading this. Then in my jars of venison stew, we're gonna have to do 2 loads because I have 8 jars. My canner can only fit 7 jars. So I literally hate the idea of running my canner with literally 1 jar in it, but that's what we're gonna do today because that's what I have to do. So I'm gonna add a little bit of more water to this, a splash of vinegar, We're gonna top off our venison stew with just warm water. I'm gonna try to match the temperature of the water that I'm putting in the canner to the water that I'm putting in my jars out of the sink, because my tap water gets ripping hot, like scalding hot. So I don't have to worry about boiling it. If you want to boil it, totally could, definitely an option. Right, wipe our lids, get on lids and rings, and start loading in for the next round of canners. It is like 2:30-ish, 2:40-ish, so it took a long time from the beginning of this project to actually getting things kind of rotated, but a lot of this time is downtime. I was able to hang out with the kids in between, read some books, play, unload, reload my dishwasher, things like that. So a lot of the time is passive. It's not time spent in the kitchen, but it definitely takes some time in between rotating of the canner. I definitely have plans to get a second pressure canner. I think we are going to need them just with the amount of canning that I do, especially now pressure canning. I'm doing that more and more. So let's get this taken care of here. I'm gonna put in my splash of vinegar first so I don't forget it. Add in a little bit more water, and so I did put this under a towel like I said I was going to, and I've just let these sit. I'm also gonna debubble these, which is perfect, and then I should have just enough time to get these going in the canner and give my kitchen a good wipe down before my kids get home from school. So I have one jar that I'm not gonna be able to fit in this. I'm gonna put a ring and a lid on it and put it in the fridge, just because I don't want it sitting out on my counter for too long while it's waiting to go into the pressure canner, because there is meat in it. The jar is still cold now, but that doesn't mean it's going to be in another, 2 hours by the time we get the canner up to pressure and it cans, because these need a can for 90 minutes a piece, or 90 minutes. So this is going to be a little bit longer of a wait. And then that way I could just put this one jar in the fridge. I could use it for dinner tomorrow if I wanted to, or I can wait and run that one through the canner tomorrow. So we've definitely got options. Very late at night. It was like at 9:30. We're gonna go ahead and get these taken care of. We are pulling my batch out of the canner here, and I still had one jar left. I did that the next morning, but we're gonna pull things out, get things cooling, let things settle, and all of my jars sealed, which is absolutely fantastic. I've had some jar lid failures recently, so it felt good to get a 100% batch out of this. And we're gonna let these cool, find room on the storage shelf, which is very quickly getting very full this time of year, but it feels good to add to that with some shelf stable meat and a little bit of a convenience meal. So thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I hope wherever you are, you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will catch you guys in another one.